carry it along, but you're going to be creative. You're going to be creative. Are you feeling overwhelmed and stressed most of the time? Well, that's all of us. But I have 6 tips that if you do them, you are going to feel less overwhelmed and you're going to have a lot more joy in your life. Tip number 1, be present. Okay, what does that mean? Because like in the present, I'm feeling overwhelmed and stressed. What does that mean? It means in the present right now, you can't do everything, right? Being overwhelmed and stressed is in the future because it's thinking about all the things that you have to do. But being in the present means you're focused on one task, one goal. Not all the other things that you have to do, you're focused on that one thing that you can get done. But if you're stepping back and just like, oh my God, I have to do this, and I have to do that, and that, and that, and it's like overwhelming, then you don't get anything done in the present moment. You take a breath and you're like, what's the one thing I have to do now? And you focus on that. And then you go to the next thing that you have to do now, rather than thinking about all the things that you have to do. And if you're worried, like, I'm not gonna remember everything because I gotta do this and this, make a list. I'm a lover of lists. Make a list of everything you have to do so it's out of your brain, and then put it aside and say, but those are not the things I'm doing now or dealing with now. So I do not need to be stressed about those things. I'm gonna focus on the one thing that I'm doing right now. And that should release a lot of the overwhelm. Okay, tip number 2. So sometimes like the stuff we have to do is overwhelming, like it's a big job or something that's got a lot of moving pieces to it. So break it down into bite-sized chunks, things that you can do in 15 minutes or 20 minutes or 5 minutes even. But if you can break this big thing down into smaller parts, then you can start. Sometimes we have such a big goal or thing to do that it's so overwhelming that we don't start because it's just like, oh my God, how do I do that, right? So what you need to do is just like break it down. What's the very first step that you need to do? Don't think about the rest of it. Like what's the first tiny step, and just do that. And then you go, what's the next step? And just do that. So that you're just focusing on these little steps and not the overall big picture. And you'll get there. But if you look at the big picture, sometimes we get frozen because we're like, it's too much. I can't do it. I can't do it. So step back. What are the steps? And just do it one at a time and you're gonna get there. Tip 3, this is my favorite. And if you listen to a lot of these creative joys, you're gonna hear me say this a lot. Use a timer. Timers are like my best friend because, again, sometimes things like if you think of something you have to do and it's going to take hours, it's overwhelming. But buy a timer, use your phone, whatever you want, set a timer for something that's doable, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 5 minutes even. But when you set that timer, I want no distractions. You cannot look at your phone. I'd say put your phone in another room. No people around, no pets, you can't do your laundry, you can't do anything except the task at hand. And the amount of stuff you can get done in 10 minutes is amazing with no distractions. And then the timer goes off and you're like, wow, that was quick, right? And then reward yourself. You can go do the laundry or play with your pets or do something fun and then come back and do another 10 minutes or 20 minutes, the amount that you think you can do. But it helps you make bite-sized chunks that are doable. Like when you think, oh, I can do anything for 10 minutes, of course you can, right? But if you think like, I have a 5-hour project, I can't start. 10 minutes at a time, you're gonna get there. And you're gonna do more in those 10 minutes if you're not distracted than you would in an hour when there's all these distractions and social media and whatever. So get a timer and use it. And maybe you do 10 minutes for a while and you're like, that is so easy. I can do 15 minutes or 20 minutes. So use a timer, bite-sized chunks, no distractions. That is gonna help a lot. Tip 4, you gotta breathe, okay? So sometimes we get so stressed and it just like, it raises our heart rate, our breathing gets shallow. So sometimes we just gotta take a moment and we breathe. We take a break. So maybe you're working really hard for an hour and then it just like the stress and everything, remove yourself, meditate, do some yoga, go for a walk, but just like take small breaks, get up and stretch, So there's a lot of scientific proof out there that like taking a break every hour actually improves your productivity. You can get more things done. So don't forget about your health and your body. Like, don't let it keep getting revved up and stressed. Take a breath, take a break, do something fun for a short period of time, and then come back to it. So the other thing this does is it puts your life in perspective. Yes, that goal, that task is really important. You got to get it done. But also you got to take care of your health. You got to have joy in your life. You got to have some fun. You got to breathe. So all of those things work together to accomplish what you want to do. But you can't like go and not take care of yourself, because the work won't be as good and you're gonna feel overwhelmed and stressed. So you gotta take breaks, you gotta take care of yourself, and it will get done. But it will get done in a more joyful way. You're gonna enjoy what you're doing a lot more if you take breaks and you take care of yourself. Okay, tip number 5, delegate. So I know we don't always have the money to do this or the resources, but if you can, delegate as much of this task as you can. Because there are a lot of things within a goal or a task that you don't need to do, that you can get others to help you to do, whether it's a favor, whether you can pay them. But figure out like what's really important for you to do and what can you delegate, so that you're not using up all your time doing things that you don't need to do. You do the important stuff and give the other stuff to other people. And that's gonna help you get it done quicker. They're gonna do a good job, you're gonna do a better job, and it's gonna get done. So don't overwhelm yourself and feel like you have to do everything. And this also goes back to like control, because we wanna have control over everything we do, right? But we gotta give up some of that control, give it to other people, so that we can do the stuff that's important, that brings us joy, that we're really good at, and give the other stuff to other people. So delegate what you can, so you're not wasting any of your time with overwhelm and stress, when you can just focus on this one thing and have other people take care of the rest. Tip 6, the 2-minute rule. So this is gonna help you proactively in your life. So if there's something that takes 1 minute to 2 minutes, do it now. So if you're coming in and you have a bunch of stuff, and instead of just like putting it away and I'll put everything away later, if it'll take you 2 minutes or less, do it now. Then you don't have to do it later. If you're bringing in your laundry and you've folded it already but you haven't put it away, but it takes 2 minutes or less, do it now. Because that stuff is gonna add up later, and you come into your house and you have all these things to do and you're overwhelmed, because now it's gonna take 30 minutes because you have all these little things. So if something will take 2 minutes or less, do it now, and then you don't ever have to think about it again. So if you start implementing just this rule, it's gonna take out so much of those little things that start to stress and overwhelm us that really shouldn't. They're just tiny tasks. And they're tiny tasks. If you take care of them right now, they become much larger tasks when they build up. So 2-minute rule, try that right now, and you're gonna see much less stress in your life. So I hope these 6 tips help you. I know how hard it is to be stressed and overwhelmed and have a really busy life, but this is our only life, and I want you to enjoy it. I want you to have all those fun moments and stress less. It's bad for our health. We're not enjoying our lives, and our lives are just like continuing on, and if we don't pay attention, we're gonna be stressed our entire life, and it's like, why? So I want you to really like go back and listen to these tips again if you need to, but start implementing them, and I swear you're gonna have a lot more joy in your life and a lot less stress.